All right. It is recording, though. What if I talked in my fake accent the whole time?
The whole episode.
Go.
Welcome to Feisty Mindfulness. We're here to share tangible advice, resources, and stories from real people like me, and we hope to inspire growth in owning your mental health. So here is your host, mug collector, and cardigan queen, Joelle. In a cardigan.
Wearing said cardigan. Also, my girls who get shit done shirt.
Oh, nice. Yes. I'm still waiting for mine to come in the mail.
And it still says girls, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll have to look up where I got it from and tag her. Try and find it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I ordered mine like a year ago, and they just had to I think they had to custom make it for me. So, still waiting.
Double X. Like, why does this dude want this so bad? Yeah, so today I thought it would be fun to do something that was a little bit more conversational, more chill. We've done quite a bit of research-based and things that are a little bit more on kind of the more intense side, I guess, would be a good way to describe it. So I thought today would be fun to do something that was a little more relaxed. And there was a debate about name choices. Check-in and chill is what I named it. Today's episode.
Yeah, I like it.
Tyler wanted feisty, check-in, and mindful chill, which makes sense, but
it's too many words.
A lot. It's a lot of words.
Too many words for my little artwork I have to make.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, that's hilarious. I totally would never have thought of that. Yeah, so I wanted to check in first, and so I have some questions we're just going to go through, and some of them are questions that I have been asked and recently by some coworkers and stuff as well, which is cool. At my work, we've talked quite a bit, just kind of checking in, being like, how's everybody doing? And with the transition from working from home, and it feels not indefinite, but are we're just going to work the rest of March from home to be safe to oh, cool. See you in May.
See you guys in July.
I hope not. That'd be a long time.
Yeah.
We just might not ever go back to the office if that were the case.
I don't think people will stand for it that long.
No. People were having a hard time, I think, with it anyway.
People are going to have a hard time making it another 10 days. Speaking of which, holy cow, I need to text my brother. It's his birthday. So continue on.
Oh my gosh.
I'm listening, I promise.
Well, you have to be fast because I have questions.
Okay.
So you can't just meander around over there on your keyboard. Oh, the eye contact at the same time. I love it. I did that to Tyler the other day. I was typing for work and he was talking to me and I looked at him and he was like, that's creepy. He's like, how can you type like that? I was like, I kind of type as part of my living, so
yeah, for real.
I just do it. Yeah, okay, so to start, I thought it would be fun to start with big wins for the last week or so, or if you've had other cool, exciting wins that you want to share. I figured that's a fun positive to start on.
Yeah. I can't remember how long it's been. I feel like it's been at least maybe 3 weeks or so since I was on here. So I've been continuing to learn more about streaming. And that's just kind of what takes up everything, to the point that Sam is sick of hearing me talk. She's just like, I want you to talk about something else other than a graphic or you learn to do this or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, I guess, wins for me are lots of just behind the scenes stuff of learning how to do things better, how to make them look better, how to like make my streams more stable, like internet connection wise, but also just things I'm scheming for once life goes back to normal a little bit. And can start having guests with me in real life and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
But also some things that I want to try while we're still apart. So I'm just kind of pulling all the resources together to do like a trivia night. I know you and I have talked about that a little bit. Like,
So much fun. I want to do that.
yeah, so like a trivia night via Zoom call or FaceTime or something, and we'll get like
Yeah.
5 or 6 people. So yeah, that's been.
Could you do it for my family?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not? I just
could
won't
make
stream
them
it.
do trivia with me.
Yeah, we can do it.
That would be so much fun.
Is that
speaking
genuinely
of-
something your family would enjoy doing?
Yeah, I think that if we could get, I don't know if I could get Tyler's parents technology-wise to be able to do that without us. But it would be really fun to play my parents and his parents and us, because that's like, we're the group that likes to like play games and stuff.
Yeah.
My sister and her husband are a little less interested. I did get them to play during a FaceTime call. We played the 5-second rule game. That was entertaining. I lost horribly after doing pretty good when my coworkers and I played it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I got really hard. I don't know. I definitely lost that time, though. Tyler was looking at me and he was like, what is happening? But that one was actually pretty fun. And we played a couple of other ones, like for work, and like, 'cause we do happy hour, and so we did virtual happy hour
Of course.
for March.
Yeah.
So we'll do another one here at the end of May. It's like at the end of every month. So,
Nice.
but yeah, so wins. I feel like the Grand Rapids live stuff is going good.
Yeah. It's just kind of, as lockdowns got more intense, it, it became even more and more hard to do things with people, even just 1 or 2 people. We were trying to be safe about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll continue on. What about you? What are some anything?
Big wins.
Yeah.
I think it sounds silly probably, but we reorganized the office.
Nice.
So I have an actual like space that's kind of my own to work in. When we realized that it wasn't just like a 2-week thing, I was like, I kind of need to be able to focus better, and in order to do that, I kind of have to like be clear of clutter. And so we took dog kennels down and just like moved all 3 of the big pieces in here around. So there's a lot more open space. So that was a big win. I convinced Tyler to do that with me. On Good Friday, I had Good Friday off, and so
Nice.
that's what we spent our afternoon doing. What else? Did I have anything written down in notes? I don't have them pulled up. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Let's see.
that
This
I wrote.
says working my way back into running, even though it snowed.
Oh, yeah. So as part of like
Move goals.
getting
and
back
stuff.
into working around, yeah, as trying to get into like a good like routine with using like the Nike app or the Center app and stuff. I've been really liking the Nike app. I think I found a girl, like one of the instructors on there that I just really like.
Is it
So that has been
the
good.
Run Club app?
Okay, so there's 2, and they actually have one that's literally only for running, and that one is cool because they have guided runs now. So you actually have like a person talking in your ear cheering you on.
Oh, nice.
So I got to hear Kevin Hart at the end of my run today go, nice, like, low voice.
That's amazing.
He's like, not too many people work that hard on today.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was really cool. But yeah, so there's an actual like Nike workout app
Okay.
as well. And they like, if you turn on the options for health syncing and stuff, those apps sync too, which is cool.
Nice.
Anyway,
do you remember
I got back into running, which was a goal.
Total sidetrack. Do you remember the first like Apple and Nike Run Plus thing? It was like this.
I had one of those watches.
Sensor you had to like put in your shoe, and then there was like a thing that would connect to your iPod or your iPhone.
Yes,
Yeah.
And one of our bosses was like all about it and had like the little shoe pocket and everything.
So funny. They had Nike.
Yeah.
I think I still have a pair of Pegasus that have the little like cutout for those. Yeah.
I wasn't that cool. I didn't start wearing Nikes until like recently, actually.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't
like them.
It was random Black Friday, and I think Apple may have done it a one-off with Nike in Chicago for that Black Friday, but I happened to go. It was Black Friday. I went downtown to Michigan Avenue because I'm a crazy person. That was just like,
I know.
I don't know. I think I was probably like 17 at the time. It was just like, I want to do this. Like, it sounds.
Is it because you're from sort of that area, and so in your head it seems fun? Because to me that sounds like a panic attack.
Yeah, well, it seems fun. But yeah, it was just kind of like, I know it's going to be crowded and nuts, but I just want to see what life is like in a place like that, on a day like Black Friday. So, but it was like, if you bought there was a certain range of shoes that if you bought a pair of those on Black Friday at the Nike store, you could walk down Michigan Avenue to the Apple store and show them that you bought these shoes, and they would give you one of those sensors for free.
Wow. So that's fancy.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, so Nike has done some really cool stuff with trying to keep people moving at home. They did a really big shoe sale, like a discount on like I think any shoe except maybe like one of their crazy like special edition ones or anything. But like, yeah, like no questions asked. Like, here's 25% off whatever shoes you want because we want you to like stay active and like have good shoes to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's profit there somewhere, but like, just one of those that I thought was really cool that different companies are doing. It's been kind of interesting, like, just because I'm like kind of a data nerd, and so just to kind of see how companies are handling different like opportunities, like, and kind of the psychology, like, how does that land? Does the customer feel like you are taking advantage of it, or do they, and so like sometimes like the Facebook ad comments, I'm such a dork, but I'll actually like read them where I'm like, oh, people don't like this one. They think that it's like scamming them because they're stuck at home. And then there are some like that Nike one where like people were super excited. People like they loved it. They were like, this is a huge discount for the Nike shoes, and I got to pick the ones that I've been wanting and stuff like that. But I saw one for like Beachbody where like the comments were just like ripping them apart, where they were like, oh yeah, 14 days free, but I have to sign up and you have to take my card and it's not free at all because if I forget then you charge me like double, and I'll like just ranting and stuff. And I was like, that's just a free trial. Like, what? How it works. Anything that you sign up for is like that nowadays. Just set a calendar reminder like the rest of us. But it was just one of the, I don't know, it's been very interesting to see how different companies are handling stuff. And there have been some that have been like really like going above and beyond, and it's been kind of cool. Like, I wear I have a couple pairs of Rothy's shoes, and they're like pulling resources to like make, I want to say they're making masks.
Oh yeah, everything. There's like, New Balance is doing that too. They like...
What in a shoe like store or a manufacturing place gets turned into a mask? Fabric?
Yeah, fabrics and stuff. I'll send you... We'll put it in the show notes, or I'll like change the podcast episode art to this. There's the New Balance one is really sweet. Their masks. Huh. But I mean, even Apple's making them. They just have shut down
making masks.
Yeah,
you're saying?
Yeah, they're making the big face shields, the plastic ones.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like support articles and all kinds of stuff on like how to clean them and like all this kind of just typical Apple stuff.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, it's been interesting to see like how different companies are like just diving in there and innovating and finding ways to do it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think.
So what ways have you been trying to like stay active via quarantine or because of quarantine?
Well, so I started really honing in on like the workout apps and stuff like that, and trying different free trials. Like,
is there anything though, like outside of the workout app? And you could just say no. I'm just trying to be.
yeah.
Oh man. Dang it. We're fine. Is there anything that you're just like doing differently because you're working from home so much that you've had to like adjust your routine for working and breaks and stuff like that? Or
Yeah. I so actually had a much more difficult time this past week. I don't know if I've just been in a funk. I don't know if I like finally caught up to how some people were like expressing they felt like the week before. It's weird because it's Sunday. But it's, where some people were talking about like having a really hard time and starting to feel like kind of depressed and stuff. This past week was kind of that like moment for me where I was just like, I do not want to get out of bed. Like, I'm a morning person generally. I don't have any problem just being up naturally by like 7 or 8 and being like very much ready to go. Like, I'm not really like walk around grumbly, mumbly. I'm like, let's go. I'm going to make coffee. I'm going to get dressed, like listen to something. Like, I'm ready to go. And I just wanted to lay in bed and like sit and hang out on my phone and go through my like 580 something emails that I keep thinking I'm going to read and then I don't. I'm that person who like goes through and deletes a bunch, but then leaves some unread that I know I want to go back to, and then I just don't.
Well, I am that way too, and it's been getting up to, I'm pushing like 25 emails now already, and I want to go back and read that.
I used to not leave any unread, and I have like over 500. It's creeped up from 200 to 300, and then all of a sudden was like 500 something, and I was like, Houston, we have an email problem.
Yeah. I'm going to save this for later on, but I have a resource for one of the questions we're going to talk about later. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah, so...
So big wins. You've been adjusting to working from home.
Oh, you were asking me about working from home.
You've been working your way back into running.
Moving my desk around.
Moving your desk around. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in terms of big wins, I think that there wasn't anything like really crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't been working on any really big projects. We have been making a lot of progress on the photography rebrand. That will be huge when we finally get to like check that done. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel like you're like close to that, or is there still like quite a bit you have to do? Without being too specific.
Yeah. I think that for me, I don't know. I felt like we were super close, and then I looked at the website the other day because we were picking colors with our designer, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of copywriting that's going to have to get done.
Oh, yeah.
Before I feel good about, like, making it, like, live. But, like, name, and we have our new logo, which you helped us type break. It was fun. I sent out photos.
Whose did I pick?
Of both. You mean, like, if it was
like
mine
on your side or Tyler's side?
Tyler's. Mine.
Oh, dang it, man. We were talking earlier before we started this.
It was literally unanimous. It was
unanimous.
Unanimous. Thank you. It was. I think I was trying to spell it in my head. Yes, it was. I sent it to Alexia, you, and my mom and my sister. All 4 of you picked that same one, like without like no questions asked. I was like, guess what? He's like, hey, if everyone picked it, like. We're good. I like it, but we're going to pick it. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of a win right now, at least, is like making progress on that feels really good.
Cool.
Anything else that you thought of while I was talking?
No, I don't think so. Well, the reason I was asking about why you picked is before we started recording our episode, Joel and I were talking about the title and what
yeah.
Tyler had come up with. And I was like, well, I like Check In and Chill better than the other one. And I just feel like I always pick your side instead
Accidentally.
of his. I don't know. I'm trying to be a bro, but it apparently is not easy.
I think neither one of you are like super bros as it is,
Yeah.
so maybe that's why you miss. It's because you guys are so chill and similar about so many things. Okay, so number 2, technically, I guess, besides our tangents that we've gone on, which is fine. What have you learned about yourself in the past couple of weeks?
I've learned that I don't despise the work that I do for my like full-time job as much as I thought I had grown to despise it. Mm-hmm. I just need better coping skills and I need better time management skills in order to build in time for me to feel like I have escaped that place enough or whatever those feelings are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like time in between going like back in for a shift and doing other stuff that kind of like
Yeah.
refuels. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is just like now that we're out of winter, I have more motivation in general, but I need to be harder on myself about just sitting on the couch doing nothing. After this time is over, and I've been really trying to like soak up and be okay with like, I know that I have at least the next probably 6 weeks or so of not having to go back to my full-time job just yet.
Yeah.
And so like leaning into resting right now and leaning into learning how to be wise with my time when I have time to create and stuff, things that refuel me.
Yeah.
Because right now it's like I almost have so much time that I stifle myself a little bit. Like I want to go to this project and then I want to do this thing and then like whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so this has been for me a really good reset and a really good time to learn how to do the things that I love to be able to recharge me. So
Yeah. Which I think that's a great point, right? We've talked about different kinds of ways to like relax or, stress relieve and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it would be probably a great topic to like talk about like ways to kind of like recharge and the kinds of like types of people and, and kind of like what that looks like. 'Cause I think, you and I are similar in that, like, the projects and the, like, diving into something new and learning and teaching others as we learn cool stuff and that creative kind of, like, grind, if you will, where you're just like, I'm going to make this happen.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm going to create this thing and it's going to be great. I think that refuels us, but at the same time, you could go out and hang out with like a group of friends and love it and feel refreshed when you get home. Right? Isn't that usually kind of how you describe it a little bit? Yeah. Where you a lot of times you feel better. Where you're like, I was in a funk and then I went out and I spent time with good friends.
Yeah,
and I feel a lot better.
It can't just be like going out in general. It's either going out with
it's like
with
the
a certain
people.
group of people or just even spending time around those people.
Yeah, where I can be like, I love all of you dearly. You're like my top humans in the world, but I am so ready to go sit alone and hang out with my dogs, and that's another thing, like learning how to build that space while in lockdown or quarantine or stay at home or however you want to phrase it, like with somebody whom I love and my dogs and all that kind of stuff. But like there's not you don't have a lot of break, right? Like I'm working from home, he's hanging out, he's doing his stuff and working on his little projects and everything, and I'm like, okay, how do you build like space, if you will, like not literal space because like the apartment is it, but like, you know, how do you build that but still spend time with each other? And I learned that about myself, is that like the quality time, we still have to fight for that, which sounds crazy because you're around each other all the time,
No,
but that quality
that. Yeah.
time isn't actually there, because I'll get up and he will have like, he can stay in bed, so like why not? So he will meander out later, take care of the dogs, and I'll have a meeting. So I'll like pop my head in and I'll be like, okay, I'm shutting the door. I have a meeting at 9:15. Like, just be really quiet when you come out with the dogs, and then I'm in there and I'm like working and stuff like that. And he's like come in and just like set breakfast down like on my desk table and like walked back out, and like, you know, like little things like that. But it's not actually like quality time. And all of a sudden this weekend I was like, I miss, like, just laying in bed and putting on a TV show, because we spend all day together, and then I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to bed because I have to work in the morning, and he might be finishing a movie or playing video games or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I'll come to bed in a little bit. And I was like, why do I miss just like that moment? Or why do I miss sitting down and having like making a meal together and then sitting down and eating it? And it just like hit me where I was just like, oh, it's still the quality time. Like, just because you're around each other nonstop doesn't actually mean it's quality time together. And that was kind of a little light bulb for me, at least, which was interesting.
Yeah.
What else have I learned about myself? I'm not as anxious about, like, actually catching the virus as what I would have thought. Like, as someone who is, like, very much on the germaphobe side of life, I would have expected to feel really anxious, like going out places or trying to do stuff or whatever. But I mean, I'll help Tyler, you know, clean groceries. But like, we went and stopped at the grocery store while we were out, and we didn't have masks with us or anything like that. And I was just like, okay, like, we'll just be really careful and we'll clean everything and we'll just go with it. And so I'm surprised, I guess. One of my friends who also, you know, deals with anxiety, she was like, I feel like there's a whole world of us out there who are like, I was built for this. I was cracking up. That's laughing funny. Where she was just like all of my germaphobe and all the things that I already do, and now people are like just figuring out that that's like what I do every time I get back from the grocery store, like, you know, just that kind of stuff. Where she was just like, I'm built for this. I love working from home. That's my whole job. Like, video calls is basically my whole job already. Yeah. She's like, I literally was built for this. This is great. I go outside and hang out with my chickens and build my garden. And after working inside all day, that's it. That's my life already. And I was just like, you're probably right.
Yeah. Crazy.
Which is funny. Yeah. Anything else you've learned about yourself?
No, not that I wasn't already learning. Just, you know, continuing to grow.
Nothing
and stuff.
New.
No, not really.
Oh yeah, I always have stuff. My laundry list of videos to watch and things to read and try and improve on. Yeah. Okay, so. What are you thankful for right now? So this one I stole from the journaling I've been doing every night, is to like quickly jot down 5 things. And so the point I think that he's trying to make in this journal process is that day. Like, if you go through like quickly, you usually think of things that are like top of mind, which I thought was a good exercise to build in.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Oh, sure. So
just to change it up, not and because I don't have time to think, LOL.
Yeah. Totally not that at all. Okay, so like 5 positive things. So today it was sunny, and it was warm enough for me to go for a run without like extra gear on and like a hat and stuff. I got to just wear like yoga pants and a shirt and stuff. So that was nice and feel sun on my face. This weekend my face got burnt. #Irish AF.
Nice.
We were outside playing with the dogs in Tyler's parents' backyard, and my face got burnt.
For all of an hour, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. But still, like, what are the odds that, like, the one thing not in a coat got sunburned? Even, like, the part on my head, I had to part my hair different today because the center part was burnt. Oh, to be Irish. Kitty.
Yeah.
So those, I'm thankful for that. We had a really, really great dinner. Tyler made an awesome, I thought that was the cat at first.
It is the cat.
That growling sound.
He's probably
I think
purring.
it was you moving something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tyler made this like honey mustard, I don't know, it's like an Outback recipe,
Nice.
but he made it like at home. So it's like bacon and honey mustard, and I think there was like onions, and I made green beans. And anyway, so that was really good because as weird as it sounds, I've been craving vegetables. We went on a hot pasta streak, and I was like, I cannot eat another pasta dish. I want something green.
Yeah.
And Tyler was like, weird.
Oh, man.
Anyone who knows me knows that I adore pasta.
I've been missing...
Even though I'm gluten-free.
I've been missing the salad that I got pretty regularly at work that it just doesn't make sense to drive all the way out to the mall for. I miss...
Isn't the mall closed?
But I think the restaurant, like...
Oh, restaurants might be
yeah,
open.
but...
Yeah. So what is that? 3 things? Good dinner. Finally got some vegetables. I found the gluten-free cupcakes that I like at D&W.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, they're vanilla cupcakes. I find there so good. Yeah, my family is healthy and happy. I just see tail.
I'm trying to get him to poke his face in the camera. Probably won't happen.
See if he'll say hi to the internet. But yeah, my family is healthy and everyone seems to be doing okay. Like no one's having like any really big, struggles handling being in lockdown and stuff. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say the same thing as you for sure. That the sun is out more. Mm-hmm. I was thinking earlier about how it was nice that it was like after 8 p.m. and there was still light in the sky, and it was, still the sun over top of houses at like 7:30, 7:45ish.
Yeah.
Which was,
but you're like, that's the light.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's still here.
I'm thankful for my cats. We have the 2 of them, and I'm thankful that I'm thankful that they're as affectionate as they are. Sam had a couple of days.
You mean in terms of like?
Well, Sam had a couple of days of like some pretty deep anxiety and trouble sleeping, and like Gizmo has a sixth sense for that and just like lays on her chest when. So, yeah, thankful for that.
Yeah. Just pick up on that.
I got a grill today from a friend. We have like a grill like smoker
grill?
thing. It was the one that we have is just too big for like just when 2 people want to make burgers. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was
sure.
it was supposed to be like a smoker, whatever. I think I got it from some guy on Craigslist for like $50. So who cares? But yeah, so then a friend of mine was just gonna get rid of his like normal size grill.
Yeah.
So I went over there and picked that up today. That's 3. I am thankful that I'm getting better at this streaming stuff to bring that all up again today. The last few like Saturday nights when I go to bed before, church on Sunday morning, I would not sleep very well. I felt like I was in my 20s again when I was nervous about playing guitar. Hey, would you quit messing with that, please?
There we go.
Yeah. So I didn't have
So
that last
thankful
night. I
for the
slept really well last night, which
learning.
was nice. But 6 a.m. still came way too quick. So and I'm glad that I was able to take a nap today and not feel like garbage afterwards. Sometimes that happens on a Sunday nap. You're just like, I'm just gonna lay down for an hour, and then it's like, you wake up and you're like,
don't.
what day is it? And you look like Robin Williams in Jumanji.
Oh my gosh. How could I forget about that? So I don't have a lot of luck sitting through movies. I get antsy or bored or anxious.
No.
Sometimes all at once, it seems. And so we actually got through Jumanji, the new one, with Kevin Hart
And
The
The
Rock.
Okay.
And then
Jack Black is in it too, right?
Yeah. It's a riot.
Oh, I believe it.
It seriously is. It is absolutely hilarious. Like, I would actually recommend that movie to somebody, which says a lot. So, and I bring up Kevin Hart twice in one podcast.
Yeah, what's going
That's
on?
crazy. I don't know. I do like it. He's hilarious.
he's
He's probably one of my favorite, like, funny people in the universe, and his stand-up I'll watch, like, over and over again. Drives Tyler crazy. He's like, Wyatt, stand up. You saw it. I'm like, it's still funny.
Yeah, still funny.
Still funny. Speaking of, Chris D'Elia has his out on Netflix.
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable.
I heard somebody else talking about
It's
it
so
on
funny.
like a Instagram Live or something. They were like, this is what I've done this weekend. And they were like watching Chris D'Elia. And I was like, oh, man, we're going to have to add that to our list.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Sweet. I don't know what I was talking about.
Well,
so,
sounds like a good way to move on to number 4 here.
Right?
How are we feeling right now?
Right now. So that is another one from the journal, like, where it's just like, how, like, in this moment, like, how are you feeling? And I usually kind of just do like a take stock of like, okay, mind, body, like spirit, environment, like that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, how does my body feel right now? I feel a little bit sleepy, or I can feel like I may be hunched over my computer today, or, like I try and just kind of like go down, like, not your senses, but just like mind, body, like how am I feeling?
Yeah.
So that's why I included it, is because it's kind of a nice one just to kind of like do a self check-in, just like, oh, how am I doing? Because that's one of those things people are like, oh yeah, how are you? And it's usually a very like automatic response, and so it's like, yeah,
whatever.
So what happens when you ask yourself, like, how am I really feeling, like, actually? So, yeah. But to answer my own question, if you want, I kind of mentioned it earlier. This past week was probably the hardest one so far, honestly, for me. I had a really hard time getting up. The snow outside was really, like, I mean, I don't know. I've lived in Michigan all my life, and I feel like that kind of stuff it's not fun, but it doesn't necessarily like surprise me or leave me feeling really like, oh my gosh, really, it's snowing.
Yeah.
And I just felt that way, where I was laying in bed and I was just like, I just don't want to. I don't want a today.
Yeah.
Today. Like, I'm not ready to get out of my warm bed and deal with this on top of just like whatever else is going on in the world today. And so I felt that a lot this week, and had a hard time getting up like as early as what I normally do, and just felt kind of blah, and had a hard time focusing. And like this weekend I would randomly just feel sad, and I didn't really know why. And I looked at Tyler and I was like, I don't know why I'm sad, actually. I was like, I don't have a reason to necessarily be sad, and sometimes that's just not, that's not how it works. Anyone who has depression knows that's just not reality. But yeah, I just was like, I can't pinpoint it. I can't figure out what it is. And the only thing I can think of is just like my schedule. My routine is all kind of out of whack. And I think sometimes that just throws me off. I'm one of those people, man. I just need that routine of just like that rhythm of like get up at this time, eat at this time, take breaks, do this thing, head to bed, you know, start over. So, yeah. But like right this second, I feel fine. Except a headache that is because I didn't drink enough water after I ran.
That'll happen. It's important. I also feel okay right now. I got up really early for church. I have my normal sets of aches and pains that come with having bad posture for most of my entire life, and
most of my entire life.
And just from being, I don't know. I think it comes with the territory of working in the line of work that I do where I'm on my feet so much that you just kind of achy all the time, no matter how great your shoes are or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel okay.
Well, and coming from somebody who went from standing and running around on hard floors all the time to sitting at a desk typing, the posture is still terrible. It's just differently awful. Because now I do like stuff like this where I'm like,
all like hunched up and
and like bent over and
that's
like if my keyboard's not right and I have to like stretch my neck out. I'm like, oh, this is almost 30. Okay. I've had those moments.
For real.
But yeah. Otherwise, feeling okay. Yep. Okay, number 5.
Number 5. Do you have the list pulled up, or do you want me to read these?
Yeah,
okay,
I have it.
Cool.
What have we read lately? Favorite books, or articles, or like if you have a news, like on the news app, if you have like a regular news, what do you call that? Is it still called a newspaper even though it's digital?
News feed.
That works. News feed or something that you've been reading?
Again, as we've talked about a few times, streaming and everything associated with that is taking over my life. So a lot of what I do is learning about that. This week I did a lot of reading about things that no one who listens to this podcast will care about, but like MIDI program changes over Wi-Fi and all this kind of stuff that is not for this
Fun,
podcast.
tacky
Yeah,
stuff.
not for this podcast. I did read. Oh, we talked about this. I sent it to you. That article on Medium. Did you read that? About it was prepare for like the ultimate gaslighting or something like that. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I thought that article was really, it at least was thought provoking. Some of it seemed a little bit like, as the media tends to try to do, it seemed a little like, the sky is falling.
Dramatic.
Yeah, overly dramatic, which, that it is what it is.
I mean, it sells the story,
exactly.
right? It pulls people in and gets them to read, which is their whole industry.
But it was definitely thought provoking. It was at least worth
I
a
saw
read.
it several times, so yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think, all-time favorite book. I don't know. I haven't really read for fun since I was in like junior high or high school. To be completely honest with you, kind of got ruined for me in college, and then. Yeah,
because it was just reading to study all the time.
Yeah. So, that's where I am with that. I feel like a lot of people are in that boat, but.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common story where people are like, I just didn't because for school I had to for so many years. Well, so for me, I talk about books frequently, I feel like. But I did cave and get a Kindle.
Ooh.
I was really frustrated because the library, there was like all sorts of weird stuff happening and the physical libraries are closed, which is fine. I was just like, okay, I'll get audiobook and listen to it on my phone. And then I realized I don't really actually do that very well because I listen to things while I'm working, and you can't do that with a book where you have to know like what has happened.
Yeah, I can't listen to podcasts.
I think some
either.
people can, but I can't do that.
Some people can. For
I
sure.
have certain podcasts I can. Yeah. Like, I'll listen to Dave Ramsey for, like, hours because it just is, like, his voice is, I don't know. It's, like, it sounds like a soothing dad voice. I don't know.
No, yeah.
So
Dave
it's, like,
Ramsey is a really, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, him and, like, Chris Hogan, I'll just, like, let play, and I'll chuckle here and there at stuff that I, pick up on. But I don't have to, like, it's not like one of my, like, my favorite murder ones where they're, like, telling a story, and I want to hear all of it, and I want to catch all their funny stuff. Anyway, so books. So I caved. I got a Kindle, and I did. With it, I got like a certain amount of time of I think it's called Kindle Unlimited, and it's like a whole library of books that are free. So you just like go through, and the free section you can just download as many as you want. And then there's also, I think, something called like a Kindle library it gives you access to. I want to say it's like $12 a month or $14 a month, and it's like a rotating library, so you can like check out a book from Amazon basically.
Oh, I see.
Or you can borrow a book from somebody else who has Amazon or a Kindle or whatever. Anyway, so my sister and I were talking about like different ways to get library books, and she was like, yeah, I just have my like Kindle Fire or whatever, and I was like, I've never done that because I really am a nerd and I like pages. Like, I like the smell of a library, and I like the smell of Barnes & Noble, and like opening a new book, and it makes sounds when it's brand new, and like, I don't know, nerd. Anyway, so I caved and I got a Kindle. And I actually really like it because then I can lay in bed and not bother Tyler with a light. He has no idea. I'm like chilling, reading.
That's cool.
And I turn on the graphics so it like looks like a page swiping.
There you go.
That was some. And I got whatever the Paperwhite one is, so it like doesn't do anything else, which is actually really satisfying because
display, those are cool.
Yeah, and I can't get a notification drop down like on my phone, and all of a sudden I'm doing something else. It's like reading an actual book where you aren't doing anything else besides looking at the page.
There's nothing else to interface with there except for
the fact that it's a book. Yeah. So I really like that, and the battery life is crazy good, so I can just like carry it around like I would a real book. And all sorts of little fun little free ones. So book club is reading Educated by Tara something, and I feel bad because I'm totally blanking. I think it starts with a W. Anyway, it's a really, really popular book right now. It was like number 7, I think, on like download ones for like what's been downloaded on Kindle. So that one's really good. We passed that one several times and finally came back to it, and everyone decided we were going to read it. So, train. Well,
you can hear that?
So, I can. I don't know if it'll show up
I'm sure
on
it will. If
the
you
podcast
can hear
or
it,
not.
it'll show up on the podcast. Yep, that's a train.
That's a train. So we're reading Educated, and then like my like for fun like girly one is I think it's like comedy, but I'm positive it also would fall into like the romance category, if that makes sense. But it's like this girl who works in kind of like a Stitch Fix sort of scenario, except for like everything. So it's kind of like a makeover company. Sort of. So you hire them and they help you with like hair and makeup and clothes and your house, and they'll like hire people for you if you like need a cleaning person, you don't know where to take your dry cleaning. Anyway, so this is her job, and she's bet by one of her coworkers to make over her neighbor who's like kind of a lumberjack troll. He's really mean to her and like stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, do this and convince him that you can do a makeover on him. That's about as far as I've gotten.
So it's a rom-com made.
It's gotta be
made for.
I mean, they haven't done
made for
any
TV
like
Hallmark
making out
movie.
yet, but It actually might fall into more of like the made-for-TV kind of a thing because there's not been anything like, I mean, nothing raunchy's happened.
Have you seen any of those like
we'll see
Hallmark movies be like TikToks? There's this one girl doing those.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find them.
I have not downloaded TikTok. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't
haven't
create them. I don't think I even have an account. I literally just watch them. They're just funny.
That's what Tyler did. He literally downloaded the app and just watches them and shows them to me. He didn't create an account at all.
I'll send it to you. It's funny. She just makes fun of the plot point of Hallmark movies and how they're basically all the same.
I love it.
I'm a strong, independent woman who doesn't need no man. Oh, but you're and then. Yeah.
But you're perfect, and now we're a fairy tale. Yeah. So this isn't quite like that, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna like end up either hooking up or being in love or something. You know, it'll happen. But it's fun because it's like it's free and it's like 150 pages, and I'll probably finish it in a week. So,
nice.
That's fun. Part about the Kindle too is that I can just like download them and sift through them and pick it up, and
think of all the space you're saving.
If it's beach garbage, then it's beach garbage. Yeah, all the space. I know. Tyler's like, he's like, what about all the physical books you have to read? What happens to those? I was like, I'm going to read them. He was like,
Sure.
It's a problem, okay? Yeah. And then like fave books of all time. Like, I'm not even gonna go there. We can just do a whole podcast on that one.
You gotta go to bed.
I'll just bring my whole stack of books everywhere. It's like when I was 12, this book I read formed a lot of my opinions about fantasy, aka Harry Potter. Sounds good. So what this one is probably your favorite then is what have you listened to lately? I know we did talk about some podcasts. I have a couple that I have found that I'm really liking. And some music that I rediscovered. Ooh,
nice.
Which is always fun. It's like finding money in your pocket. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What you listening to?
What am I listening to lately? I like chill hop a lot. I don't know if you've discovered chill hop at all or if we've talked about that.
I feel like maybe you've sent me.
It's good background music.
Or a playlist.
Yeah, it's good. Just like it's instrumental almost always, and just real nice, relaxing. So a couple playlists that I've been really enjoying is Chill Hop Essentials Spring 2020. There's a website called Chill Hop Essentials, and they have like a YouTube channel and Spotify playlist, Apple Music playlist, whatever, and they do like an album every.
So you can actually find it like everywhere. It's not like just Apple Music.
Yeah, so just search for Chill Hop Essentials, but they put an album out every season of like collections of songs from artists. So like a compilation album. So the spring one for 2020 just came out. I made myself a playlist of songs that I've been listening to quite a bit since this shelter at home started, and I called it Quarantine Bops 1.
Bops? 90s kid or what? Real. I mean, I know you're not literally born in the 90s,
but grew up in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s.
And then an album I've really been into is The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. That came out. Ooh. That came out right around the same time that this all kind of got crazy.
All of that started happening. Yeah.
Rotation. Podcasts. There's the Accidental Tech podcast that I listen to quite a bit. Congratulations with Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia's brother Matt has a podcast called Matt D'Elia is Confused, and it's.
I did not know he has a brother.
Yeah.
How interesting. Do they not like each other? Is that why?
Oh no, they love each other. He's been on his podcast. Matt has been on Congratulations like 2 or 3 times.
I can't listen to the podcast. I can't.
The Chris D'Elia one.
Can't do it.
Just too all over the place.
Yeah.
I prefer, I think, the podcast over his stand-up. Sam and I were commenting, even if you've watched his podcast a couple of times, you'll know how Chris D'Elia talks in that. And then like his stand-up, he's got like a whole other persona. He's like a totally different person.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I like the podcast version. But yeah, so his brother's podcast, Matt D'Elia is Confused. He like takes a subject that is either like kind of like hot, like everybody's talking about, or just kind of in general that he doesn't understand, and he seeks out someone who understands that topic and just asks them questions.
To talk to them about it? Oh.
But he's a Dalia, so he's just very like, I don't know, what is this? Tell me.
A Dalia.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and then 2 more. Your Favorite Band Sucks is the name of the podcast. And they go through, and there is no mercy for anyone. They're not biased on it's.
Your favorite band.
It's like
sucks.
Metallica sucks, Elton John sucks, Tame Impala sucks, Daft Punk, like everybody. And it's just an hour. It's an hour-long episode of them just ripping these bands apart.
Is it like one band per episode?
And it's just these 2 guys.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Your Favorite Band Sucks. And then kind of on the opposite side of that same coin is one called Switched on Pop, talking about pop music and why it's so, what makes pop pop. And they talk quite a bit about the evolution of pop music and how it's changed from, AC/DC at one point, like Thunderstruck, was technically a pop hit. That was pop radio.
Right.
And yet you think of pop today and you think of like Yummy by Justin Bieber, right? Like, and so how pop music has changed, who is shaping pop music and whatever. So it's cool. It's just 2 dudes that like, they have their degrees in musicology. And
this is what they're doing right now.
And it's their podcast.
I love it.
So that one's really cool.
We'll have to link them. Mm-hmm. Did you say you had one more?
No, that was it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, podcast. My Favorite Murders like got me like actually into podcasting. It turned me into the like subscribe to like a huge list of different kinds, and it all kind of started with that one summer. Because I was just like, how does this work, and how can, like, what are the settings, and like, what else is there? And I caught up on all the episodes, and I was like, now what? And I like went looking for like other podcasts and found a whole bunch of different stuff.
That's the worst, when you like get caught up on a podcast that you really, really enjoy,
or like a TV
and then
show.
you become a normal person that has to listen to it weekly as it comes out. You're not just like listening to it forever.
Yeah, I had to find a new one. Anyway, so those ladies are a blast. I love that one. I like legitimately look forward to like if it doesn't load on Monday for me to like get up and listen to it as I like make coffee and get ready, I'm like not the same kind of person that Monday morning. It's ridiculous. So yeah, My Favorite Murder, I love that one. And then another crime one that I am finally all caught up on is Crime Junkie. And one of the girls from Crime Junkie now has, I don't know if spinoff is the right word, but she's doing...
She got her own podcast?
Yeah, but for crime that has like a supernatural twist where like things can't be explained, and so she goes over like the different theories. And anyway, so that one's new, like brand new, and so I'm excited. I don't have like a review right now because I don't think I've listened to enough of it to like be able to say, but I'm excited about it because she does a really great job like storytelling, and so she does a really great job with this one too. And I think that supernatural stuff is fun. So that's a new one that I've been listening to that I really like. The other one, I don't want to mess up the name. I'm going to pull it up really fast. So one of the other podcasts that I follow talked about these ladies, and I watched a couple of their videos where they were like breaking down something that they had covered as like part of Create and Cultivate. So those ladies have a podcast that's really awesome. And then there's one called the Heart and Hustle podcast, and I think it's Evie Rupp and Lindsay Roman. So that one's really good, and then they have really cool guests that I then end up really liking to like look up. Like Ashlyn Carter was talking about copywriting, and I was like, oh, I was just thinking about copywriting on the website. Now I can go look her up and see what she has, see what more she has to say about copywriting than this hour podcast. And anyway, I like that kind of stuff that has like people who are personable and talk about things, but also are like, you know, business and education, and then you can learn, and then they promote other people. Because I don't know, I like to kind of like follow that bunny trail of just like guests that really spark my interest and stuff, so I like that one. And music. Okay, so years and years has been it's just one guy. I was gonna say group, but it's just one guy. He has been like one of my favorites for a while, and I was working on my running playlist and came across some of the songs that I had of his on that playlist, and I was like down into the rabbit hole and just hit like shuffle on his entire like Apple Music like library, and I was just like, oh yes,
I love when that happens.
I was like, I'm so glad. Like I said, it's like finding money in your pocket. And I got so unruly singing and like jamming out in the office that Tyler like came in and was like, and closed the door. So, I apparently was being disruptive.
I get that text every once in a while. Headphones, please. Door, please.
Yeah, because I don't know, I was just in the zone. And I was like, it was one of those days where I like really I knew I needed to like focus to get some of the work that I was doing, because it was like pretty technical stuff, very detail-oriented, like website stuff. And I was just like, I need to focus in, and it was so perfect, and I was jamming. So I was excited that I found that one again. New stuff, The Weeknd. His
new album,
newest
so
album.
Good.
It's really, really, really good. I have this test that I do. If I skip 2 or less songs, it's a good album. If I skip 1 or less songs or no songs at all, it's a bomb album. And I think the first time I listened to it, I didn't skip a song.
Nice.
I was like, that's a good sign. That's a good album.
Awesome.
Anyway, so that one's been good. And Tyler and I have taken turns getting songs stuck in our head because they're so catchy.
Somebody, Zach from the Words podcast, who...
Yeah.
If you listened on my guest episode, he's the one that did that intro for me, whatever. He sent me a video the other day of somebody making, what is the name of the single on that, from that album?
I've listened.
What is that called? Heartless. Or Blinding Lights. Maybe it's Blinding Lights. I don't know.
I think Blinding Lights is the first one I heard.
Blinding Lights. So it was this guy making Blinding Lights completely in GarageBand on an iPhone, and he just like from beginning to like from scratch. It's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Immediately, he was just like, "Well, I give up. Never making music ever again." Because he was like doing stuff. I was like, "Oh man, I should have been doing that this whole time." Oh man, like. And it's my,
you're like, I quit.
My job, man. The heck. So listening.
Maybe it's his job.
I forgot to point out. I was going to point out a playlist that is part of that like chill hop genre. It's on Apple Music only, but it's called Bedtime Beats, and so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Bedtime Beats.
So chill. It's bedtime.
There is a very, very, very good cover of I gotta look it up. Hang on one second.
In the meantime, we can move to things that we've watched lately.
Oh, it's a cover of Earthquake by Tyler, the Creator, but it's just like chill. It's very chill guitar. It's very, very good. It's like 6 minutes long, and it's hard.
That's so
hard
long.
chilling.
Hard chilling. That seems. I was gonna make an Ice Cube comment, but okay. So things to watch lately. I made a race against time because Prime Video.
Amazon Prime Video. Yeah.
Say that. Yeah. They were taking away Bones after I had just gotten back into it.
Bunch of jerks.
And I got Tyler hooked. It took me 3.5 years I've loved Bones for a really long time. Like, I started watching it like season 2 and didn't stop. I waited for every season to come out. And after 3.5 years of being together, I finally got him hooked. And then we had like 5 days before it took it down. And it took it down in like the middle of the night. So I like woke up and it had been playing. And I went to hit play to like, you know, when it's like, are you still watching? And you don't answer. And it was gone. And I was like, no.
That stinks.
We ran out of time. And then guess where I found it?
Hulu?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hulu has it. Anyway, so I rediscovered that. Been super excited about that.
I feel like that's exactly how that works. Like a contract expires at Amazon and
has
Hulu's
it.
like, hey, we'll pay you this much to have it instead of what they were paying you or whatever.
We have been jamming pretty hard on the Amazon train. Nice. We ordered stuff from Amazon. I have the Kindle now. We've been watching a lot of stuff on Prime. So yeah, there is an Amazon original called Carnival Row, and it has Orlando Bloom in it as like the lead character, and he's a detective, and it's like a mix between like old school and like a fantasy universe that is made up. I was going to say doesn't exist, but that sounded mean. Anyway, so and it has some really, really great actors and actresses in it. And so we've been really liking that, although it is quite gory. So just heads up.
Nice.
People are ripped open. And it's even difficult for me as somebody who watches Bones. So, yeah. But that one was really good. We've been really liking that one. Grimm. That one's been out. It's not new. I started from the beginning, and I'm trying to catch up with the most recent seasons because I really like that one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Crime Man, I guess.
That's your jam.
That's my thing.
I don't watch a whole lot of TV. Sam watches a considerable amount more than I do, and she watches all of the like crime stuff, murders, like everything from like things that actually happened in real life to like, I think I probably watched like 3 or 4 episodes of SVU with her last night. Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, I think she's like the person who will watch both like the fiction, like SVU, but I think she's also one of those people who watch like the Oxygen, like, wife snapped and killed her husband stuff too.
She watches all
like
that stuff.
Based like documentary stuff.
When we want to watch really trashy TV, we've been watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm not following along with it. It's just like when it's on. If she's watching it, I don't make her change it.
Yeah.
There are very few things that I make her change. It's usually like I can only stand so much of My 600-Pound Life, and she watches that quite a bit. I just cannot. Okay, so here's the deal with that.
I couldn't.
They coach these people through how to talk. So every single episode, their like phrases are all exactly the same, and they like structure their sentences so
like
similarly,
scripted.
Yeah, and it just drives me nuts the way that they make these people talk. That's most, and just like how I don't know. I don't want to go on a whole thing, but like. People are like, I'm dying, but this is so hard that. But then I'm angry when the doctor tells me that I need to do better. But like, just there's a whole lot here that led you to this point. So, I've been watching.
We changed the channel on 600-Pound Life.
MasterChef. I kind of got accidentally invested in.
Okay.
Now, I love Gordon Ramsay, but the other two dudes on that just kind of drive me nuts. I don't like the other two judges on that show. But it is, yeah, that's a really good series, MasterChef. I've been watching, what else have we been watching? The cartoon show Archer. That's on FX.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Just kind of watch that.
It's like adult cartoons, right?
Yeah. It's really funny. And what else? Oh, Veronica Mars. I've been watching that for
Oh yeah, you told me that
probably
the other
like
day.
the last
that
like 5 months. I've been just slowly watching my way through Veronica Mars again. So, other than that, I watch a lot of YouTube stuff like Bon Appetit videos, such as Gourmet Makes or It's Alive with Brad Leone is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever watched any of his videos. He is.
I heard of it. I've not.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Just. I'm not even going to try and explain it. If you have not, if you're listening to this, this applies to you too. If you've not watched It's Alive with Brad Leone on YouTube, you need to do it. It will change your life.
Just try it.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of channels of one. It's this Chinese girl who was like orphaned at a very young age and raised by her grandparents out like in the farms in China. Like they do everything old school by hand, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
She grew up, moved into the city, got a degree. I guess she was like a pretty like successful DJ and stuff in Hong Kong for a while and all this stuff. And then her grandpa died. So she just like
farm life to
yeah.
DJ.
And then her grandpa died. So she just dropped all of that and went back to farm life. But then started making these videos of like her, like from scratch. The video starts with her planting garlic in the ground and then it like her harvesting it and then her like just, and then making all these amazing food dishes out of it, but like cooking it in old traditional ways.
And this is on YouTube?
Yeah, she's got one, like there was an episode where she grew a whole field of corn and you watch it like you watch her harvest it by herself by hand and all this stuff. So that channel is really cool, really relaxing, combination of really relaxing music, but also just the sounds of her cutting things and stirring things and whatever. So Liziki is the name of her channel. And then there's this other one, this German dude, I can't remember the name of it right now, but he takes like old, like turn of the century apparatuses, like, you know, one of those things that people like woodworkers use to like shave down a piece of wood and make it flat. It's called a planer. You just kind of like push it over the top of a piece of wood.
Right.
So he restores these things, but there's no talking. It's just like, he very high detail, like disassembling, very carefully taking everything apart. Then he shows him like, you know, putting it in parts cleaner and scrubbing it and then sandblasting it. Or if he's got to like recreate a piece or like, hey, this is too damaged, so I'm going to start from scratch, or I'm just going to try and...
I am not that patient.
And so these videos are just relaxing to just watch, I guess, because there's, you know what I mean? There's no like big flashy editing, whatever. It's just like you watch somebody do something with their hands and it's just kind of cool.
Soothing.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's what I've been watching lately.
Things that we've been working on. So that's kind of, I feel like we touched on that with big wins. So if you want, we can skip that one.
A little bit. I've been doing something to kind of break up so I'm in a situation where like I don't have, well, now I do. My work has kind of given us some stuff that we have to do during the week, just like some trainings or whatever. They're kind of like to keep us fresh on what we do for our jobs and also to kind of have it in the front of our minds to transition back into work eventually.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've just been like, I just have this opportunity to create and do all these things that I've been wanting to do forever. Like I've gotten years worth of work done in just a few weeks. It feels like, or what would have probably taken me years if I had to juggle it around my full-time job, if that makes sense. So I've been working on this cover of a song called I Love You Always Forever by Donna Lewis. I think it came out like 1992 or something. So I recorded some stuff and I sent it to my friend Sophie in Illinois, and she recorded all the vocals for it. She sent me back like 85 stems of vocals. So yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun.
That's a lot
Yeah.
for people who don't know
Yeah, it's
about
yeah,
music.
85. It's literally 85 individual
lot.
tracks of individual takes of vocals essentially.
Sound.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I've personally I've recorded music, but I've never been the one to actually like finish it. You know what I mean? I'm the one that like we have a producer for that for my band, right? Like we record the
Right.
stuff. He's the one that knows how to mix it. That's his job.
This
I do
thing.
a lot of live sound, but I'm learning very, very quickly that the things that I can do live do not translate into the box, or into the studio, like into this kind of room.
Yeah.
So just lots of like doing it wrong and then being like, wow, this sounds like garbage. Let's go back to the drawing board, start over again kind of deal.
Figure
Yeah.
it out as you go.
Yeah, so that's been my like, I'm going to work on this when I want to do something creative, but I don't want to do anything that is for anybody else. Like the streaming stuff for either for church or for Grand Rapids Live, that's for somebody else. This is just purely like for my enjoyment. So that's what I've been working on. And at this point, I think like instrumentation is pretty much done in there. It's just vocals and vocals are like making somebody sing, no matter how good they are. Like Sophie's so good. She's so good. And she gave me lots of really, really great stuff. It still is just a pain in the butt to make voices work with instruments. And so.
Yeah. I have always wanted to go through the process of recording a song. I just have, it's intense to do all that. So,
well, and it's the mark of a good producer to make you comfortable in a situation that would probably be
sometimes
is
it's
awkward
weird.
or weird or whatever. Yeah. So.
Yeah, to like stand in front of no one and sing. Yeah, the only time I really sang in front of people was like choir in a crowd. So to like stand in front of a mic and sing at a wall is very odd.
It's an odd experience. It never gets easier either.
Yeah. That's good to know. So for me, like things have been working on. So like I have some new like goals that I've been trying to hone in. So I made a list of all of the different like educational things that I've like accumulated over time. Like whether it's like, you can like sign up for an email and like each day of like for 10 days, this person sends you an email breaking down a concept or walking you through like email list building and, just like that kind of stuff. And I have accumulated a bunch of, like I said, my inbox has like 500 something emails that I've specifically left unread to go back to find. I don't know why I don't just put them in folder. Anyway, don't need to do this on the podcast. I don't know why I don't put them in folders, but so that and like made a huge list of like, okay, here's some like photography education resources that I signed up for, or this like workshop that I didn't attend, so they sent me the virtual videos and I haven't watched it, and like I paid for it and I haven't done it, and anyway, and so I just made this giant list of stuff. Or like I have a book that I got for work that's like web development for dummies, and I want to like dive into that so that I can learn a little bit more about like, okay, how much time does it actually take for like a developer to do their job so that I can do my job as project manager better. So like that kind of stuff that I like get overwhelmed by. And I was like, okay, if I put it all down on a list and I prioritize it, and then I can knock it out just like I do everything else that feels too big. And so as nerdy as that sounds and as like mundane and probably lame, it's just a big goal of mine where I'm like, okay, while things are a little less crazy, I'm still working, 40 hours a week, but like while like life is a little bit slower outside of our walls, what what is something that I can knock out. And that was one of the things where I was like, I can do that. Like, instead of watching TV, I can learn stuff and watch those videos instead. So, yeah, I did that, and I'm going to get started on it this upcoming week. So,
Sweet.
Okay, just one more, two more. What are you doing to relax or to cope, or to like kind of deal with uncertainty or like different kinds of stressors, or new stuff that has kind of popped up?
Yeah. This kind of
We kind of touched
this
on
almost
it.
kind of ties into the last one too. What have I been working on, or
Sure.
new goals or new progress on goals? I signed up for something from the artist. Her name is Maggie Rogers. I think I've mentioned her before. She's phenomenal.
I feel like we've talked about it.
She launched a thing called the Isolation Journal, and it's just 30 days of like writing prompts, pretty much, and things to kind of get you thinking and maybe even help you write, like from a songwriting perspective or something, right? But just it's for anyone and everyone. It's not like only meant for certain people.
Yeah.
So it's called the Isolation Journal. I have not personally like sat down and done any of them, but just like reading through, like you get a daily email, and there's like 5 or 6 women that like got together to write this like journal and these questions and prompts, and some of them are like pretty. Like the first one that I got, I was not having a great day, and it was a pretty like
Not
it was a
the thing
tough
to do that
question
day.
too. Yeah, so it was just like what like. Yeah, I don't even remember some of like what's getting you down right now, or like what, I don't know, something. So,
Sometimes that is perfect, though.
yeah,
Because you can work through your thoughts.
I don't know. Uncertainty, grief, stress, being cooped up, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I haven't.
I feel like you kind of said it earlier, like leaning into that creativity of just like trying to use this time wisely, like in a way that you feel good about it.
And especially when I think about all that I'm able to accomplish and learn for church, especially, and being able to like hyper learn all of this. And now I feel like I'm at a point where we've been doing this for 5 weeks now. I can begin to collect my thoughts on how I want to teach people to do this, because I've literally been the only person running what should be a 3-person operation for the past 5 weeks. Save for like Sam doing some stuff for me in the background a couple of times, but like the prep and like actually getting this whole thing off the ground. And I said it to my friend Adam today, who would be helping if we were not in this situation. It's just like, I am sick of being the only one that knows how this works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Being able to take it and teach somebody is awesome.
Like you, I've had a few days, and even this past week had a few days of just like, I don't have it today. And that's like, that's why it's Sunday night at almost 10 p.m. and we're recording this podcast, and I'm thankful for your flexibility. But yeah, it was just one of those weeks where it probably was not going to happen until now. So, I don't know. Sam and I have gotten at each other a couple of times, but that happens as well. So I just.
Yeah. I think that for me, I feel like, I talk about it every week. I try to, therapy, making sure like, okay, now we have the ability to do the video for therapy. We've talked about all the different kinds of apps that you can use. I'm really lucky that my therapist is willing to do the videos and everything, because she's amazing. So that kind of stuff, really leaning into routine and journaling, like part of it is just that's the kind of person I am, where I can tell that the routine has gotten off kilter in like the last week, because this past week was much harder to lean on that, and it was because it kind of wasn't there, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think this week was hard for me too, because this was the first week since this started in 5 weeks that I haven't had like a fun stream to do. Like I haven't had a DJ over in my garage, or I haven't had like a comedian in my living room or whatever, you know what I mean? So there was, I had to figure out, up until this point, I haven't really had a whole lot of free time. It's been pockets of like, I'm deciding now, like, pockets of like, I'm just going to take today, one day out of this week. That is, I'm not going to do anything for anybody else. So I talked about that, right? But now that that's slowed down a little bit, it's a little bit daunting. And I think that's where like maybe this trivia thing came about. Like I was already working on that with somebody else, and we did one trivia stream, but he was like, I don't want to have, like, I'm not having people over to my house, understandably, like whatever, but I just, I got to have something to do. So
yeah, which I do. I think some of that is coping, right? Like some people get overwhelmed by that like sense of just like, what do I do with myself?
And well, it's different how like different.
I also have that other like guilt kind of a thing that kind of creeps in. I've been hearing a lot about that where it's just like, oh, I have this time, I should fill it because it would be wrong of me not to. Like
that
quote
is the
unquote,
thing that I'm
like,
struggling with the most. I don't know if I said that to you this week, but that's exactly it. Is I get to a point where I don't want to do anything but things that are unproductive, but then I'm like feeling guilty about it. But then it's like, what are you going to do? Like you've got 5 weeks. It's not like this is one of your 2 days off in 7 days before you go back into all consuming everything, right? So feelings of guilt for sure that's the biggest thing that I've been fighting. But it's interesting how different our personalities are. Like the routine part of it doesn't really matter to me at all. It doesn't throw me. I could be like, last night I went to bed at midnight, got up at 6, I took a nap. I'll probably stay up till 3 a.m. and then get up whenever. Like that part of it doesn't throw me. Sometimes I get a little bit down about burning daylight hours, especially if it's nice out. So now that I think about it, I probably won't stay up late tonight because it's going to be nice tomorrow.
You mean like staying up late and then sleeping through the day and
correct?
Missing
yeah,
the
like so only get
get
a few hours of the like. When it is beautiful and stuff like that. So that's really the thing that I've been trying to time my sleep around more than anything else.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know what it would be like if I wasn't working from home. I don't know. I think I would probably still seek out that routine. I think that I would fill it with other stuff where I'd be like, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to run and then I'm going to work out and shower and get ready and do this. Like, I'm pretty sure I would just create that.
Well, and I tried that too. And it still just didn't work. I'm just not a morning person really in general. So I do my best work towards the end of my day than I would at the beginning of the day, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. But also I work a retail schedule anyways. It's not, it was a little bit structured, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? It definitely wasn't 8 to 6 every day or whatever. Yeah. 8 to 5. But
I think that, I'd be interested to see what I would be like if the schedule wasn't set for me. I think routine for me. And I think that in itself is a coping, obviously I talked about it a couple podcasts ago where I was like, now is the time to dive into routine because that can help ease anxiety a lot. And so I think that's something that as a coping mechanism, especially over so many years of trying to come up with like, okay, how do I adjust my life, right? Like what can I control? And I think that's actually one of my things to like tack on, before the end here is to I have just like a couple of like things like keys to living more joyfully at this point in time.
Well, I think unless you feel differently, the last question on here is kind of redundant. So
I just wrote down different ways to phrase stuff. So
I think
go ahead with my joy here. Stuff. Some joy stuff. Okay. So these. Okay. I'm pretty sure his last name is Wendell. Zach Wendell. Wendell
could be. Yeah.
Wendell. So I'm excited. I think I'm going to do a review, but he has something called the Bible Study. And it is like giant, really like beautifully designed and laid out Bible studies. And it walks you through the Bible over the whole year. Anyway, so I ordered that, and it was on back order, and so it's supposed to ship out. But in the meantime, I have gotten a couple of emails just being like, hey, welcome. And one of them is this, like, joy-filled life. And so I grabbed a couple of those. So he brings up gratitude journaling and the 5 things that you're grateful for. We already talked about. He talks about, like, give is what it says. And it's like, to me, that's like, okay, what do I have? Like, what do I have that somebody else might not have, right? And it's time, it's resources, it's just energy, it's being able to contribute, give back to your community, like, even if it's not money, right? Like, if you don't have money right now, there are so many other things that you can do. And we've talked about that before, and watching, communities come together and stuff like that. So, like, any way that you can do that, a lot of times it brings back those good feelings. When you do that kind of stuff, it also makes you feel good as well as, like, the other person. And smile and laugh more. I know I kind of naturally started doing this week while I've had just, like, a little bit of a tougher week. I have, like, watching Bones is, like, a very familiar show that I really love, and I do find a lot of it really funny because the main character is, like, super not socially, like,
adept.
She's mildly inappropriate accidentally all the time, where, like, she says stuff that you're like, no, that's not how you say things to people. That's not how you talk to another human. But that kind of stuff always makes me laugh. And I started watching that 70s show again, which is one of my favorites. Like, just, like, picking things naturally that make me laugh. Tyler and I have just, like, when we do have time, when I'm, like, in between meetings and I, like, come out and get food, he'll, like, interact with me and, like, joke around. And, like, we'll put on, like, tonight we were singing and dancing in the kitchen as we cooked dinner. Like, just, like, really trying to find the joy, find the things to smile, find the things to laugh at, because they're still out there. It's still there, as much as it doesn't feel like it some moments, it's still there. So, look for that. Look for ways to smile and laugh more. And then the last one, I think he had a couple more, but I'll leave it with this one. Focus on what God is doing instead. So this is basically like, focus on what you can control versus what you can't control. And I think I kind of touched on this in one of the episodes before, but it's just like, I got frustrated with, like, just, like, some of the stuff on, like, social media, or, like, watching hearing friends that they're just not taking social distancing as serious as I think they should, or I would. And, like, instead of getting caught up in that, like, I can't control them, right? I can't control, like, the neighbor who, like, doesn't seem to care at all about social distancing, or, the watching parents who let their kids, like, still do play dates because they want their kids out of the house. Like, I'm just like, can't control that. I can't. What he kind of focuses on is, like, God is still doing good things because God is good. And as simple as that is, that's, like, a really great reminder for me. I actually have it as a sticky note on my work computer, where it's just like, hey, when things seem crappy, just remember, like, good is still out there. Nice. So, yeah. I thought that his email was good. And I'm excited to get that book. I'll have to tell you about it. It looks awesome.
I feel like I've seen it before. I'm sure I have. Yeah.
Pop up?
Yep.
I'm sure, yeah. He has some pretty serious Facebook ads going. He got me, so good for him. I, like, ignored it for, like, 3 months, so here we are. Nice. He did, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Any other knowledge nuggets to share with our Feisty Mindfulness tribe?
Slide your microphone across the tabletop.
It almost fell, that's why.
No, I think this was a fun little change. It was cool to just hang out and talk about some stuff that makes sense, but not, I don't know, not on our...
Gave people some...
Not on our research
at the very
train.
least, we gave people background noise
exactly.
as they are doing other stuff.
If you want to We could put all 10 questions if we want. Ooh, pardon
Sure.
me, big yawn. We could put all 10 questions in the show notes if you want to go through and answer them yourself. If you want to write us an email and give us your answers, that'd be great. Or
that would be fun. Or do it with your friends and family.
Do it with your friends and family. Film it for your Instagram story and tag us in it. Answer one of the questions or something like that. Yeah, we'd love to get you involved. And maybe if we get enough video responses, we could like capture some of them and feature them on a podcast episode or something. But yeah. Anything else from you?
No, I'm excited to be able to do videos. I'm not doing mini-sode videos right now, but I'm trying to dive into the video stuff to give you guys video content. I'm excited about that. And yeah, it would be fun also to like do like a story, and I could like post a couple of the questions and stories and give people like the opportunity to kind of like pop back in Messenger and share those and stuff. So, yeah.
Sweet. I want to know what people thought about the meditation episode too. I don't know if you've gotten any feedback yet about it, but
yeah, I had a couple people reach out, and somebody who was just like, I don't know how I didn't know that you had this talent, and why you don't, like, how are you not a professional? How is that your first time? And I was like, I don't know, but thank you, I think. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a compliment. I'm not sure.
Keep going in the future.
Yeah, sure. I had fun.
Well,
the usual, Instagram, Feisty Mindfulness, and the Facebook. I am working on a VIP group too. It's called the Feisty Mindfulness Project. You can find it, but you have to have permission to get added to it. So I will be posting stuff in there that's like no one else gets to see. So that one is going to be fun.
Cool.
So you can find us there. Email is feistymindfulness@gmail.com. Website is still there. Same thing. Twitter. I logged back in after it locked me out. It was very mad at me. So Twitter. Cool. Yeah. Hit us up. We're excited to keep bringing you guys content.
Sweet. Have a good week.
Great.